This episode of the Community Workbench podcast is brought to you by yours truly, Matt Norn of Remax Bell Park. For all of your real estate needs, call me 860-428-6534. Your dreams are my job. Welcome to the Community Workbench. I'm Matt Norn, and this is Kyle Morrissey. We are your hosts of the #1 podcast in my basement. At the bench, we try to repair the sense of community. So every week, we bring you small businesses, entrepreneurs, community leaders, charities, and pretty much whoever we feel like talking to. And this week, we feel like talking to Noreen Wallace and Khristine Wallace from the Wholistic Collective. Welcome,
Hello.
ladies.
Thank you.
How are you?
Glad we're here.
Yeah. Noreen, I guess I'll start with you. What is the origin story of the Wholistic Collective?
Oh, okay. The Wholistic Collective came to life 2 years ago when we were homeless as a couple of clinicians and a yoga teacher looking for space. And through the interaction with, I'm not sure how, but our landlord hooked us up with this present landlord. And we find ourselves on Main Street in Danielson, which I have to say is
Booming.
Yeah.
surprisingly
Mm-hmm.
Renaissance, cool,
Mm.
little funky.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and
Yeah.
I'm on the second floor looking out. So I grew up on the second floor, and I feel like it's home on Main Street where I grew up, and
Nice.
it's just a beautiful view, and it's a great space, and um, there's a few of us there all the time. But what we do have is a big space where we're privileged and loving to bring workshops. And my passion has been for us as humans to problem solve what we're feeling, to listen to symptoms, and huh, to understand that things are logical.
Hmm.
It's not so mysterious as they want us to think.
Okay.
You know, what we put in our mouth isn't become invisible. And sometimes it's what we put in our mouth that makes our joints swell
Yeah.
and our right hip ache, like wheat. Carbohydrates, undigested, will give people right hip pain, right knee pain, right foot
Mm.
pain. And when they call me up, if they have right symptoms, I say do a carbohydrate, a grain elimination for 2 or 3 weeks, and then call me back and see if you need to come in. And
Mm.
50% of my customers or my would-be customers don't call me because food is poisonous, and it's ridiculous to deny, because I've been arguing with people ever since I took this class in 2008 that was called Related Biological Disorders. And it was from the center, from the Integrated Manual Therapy School. And it answered the question, how come sometimes things hurt and we can't make it stronger? We can't change the symptom by working on the joint, like the hip joint, the knee joint, the shoulder joint. And if we look at Chinese medicine correlates right shoulder problems with gallbladder problems. And if people's liver is soggy or their gallbladder isn't functioning, you're going to start to hunch. And as you hunch forward, there goes your right shoulder, and it kind of actually changes position, and it's tied into liver. So when I integrated manual therapy means all the levels, all the layers of science that we can know about. And oh, I can just yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's really what my passion. I had a practice for 30 years. I had 70 employees.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
And,
a lot of occupational therapists.
okay.
And they told me I had this consultation for this idea that I had, and I paid $400 for 1 hour of advice. And he basically laughed at me and said, people in Northeast Connecticut are not cool enough to understand what you're trying to do. Try to get a job. You're never going to do this. And I was infuriated. It's like, don't tell me that people aren't going to listen. And I wouldn't, and maybe my business acumen wasn't as great as it could have been. However, we had a wonderful practice. We saw thousands of people over the last 30 years, and it's all been a very holistic approach. And holistic is mind, body, spirit. And the body is affected and is affecting each other's system. And and then we learned that conceptually in 1970s, but now we learn now that yeah, your guts make 70% of your neurotransmitters that your brain needs to feel happy and good and clear-headed and focused.
Wow.
So if you got junky guts, you are compromised. And
Yeah.
then what I argue with people for is then they'll get a diagnosis. And then they say, oh, I have attention deficit. I have depression. I have IBS. I have, and goes on and on. And I'm like, no, you don't. You have a symptom right now that is being caused by this known poison.
Gotcha.
Like the science of eat right for your blood type is an amazing approach and it's correct. So people do that like me. My finger joints are unbelievably wonderful because I'm an O and O's. So this whole approach, well, I don't know. I can, I'll do a workshop on that another time. But
That's fine.
anyway, so we've just been all about the family, and I also work on babies.
Mhm.
Babies sometimes getting born is really hard.
For occupational therapy
Yeah,
for the baby.
and so what I do really, so occupation is what you do most of the time.
Right.
So that's how I get to work with any age and stage. If a baby can't nurse, and that's its job,
Yeah.
is to nurse. If it can't, that baby can't turn its head to the right and latch on to that mother's side, then that's a problem. And that's where I learned what to do, how to unwind, how to work in fascia so that we can restore neutral. We can restore perfection.
Wow.
We don't have to settle with whiplashes or and little kids getting born and their shoulder gets stuck. And so instead of being crooked forever, we can use myofascial release, bring that posture back. I'll tell you, when those babies look at me and if I did something right, they give you a look like, yeah, thanks. And I'm working on an 18-month-old boy who had open heart surgery and his head was like SpongeBob in the back. And his mother was advised to go to UMass and get a helmet in plastic surgery department. So they
Oh
put
wow.
helmets on these kids to like force their heads to be round. But reality, all our cranial bones move. And they all have a rhythm and a synchronicity. And the way to fix these kids' flat heads is to do cranial techniques and restore it and get it all round. So the other day, I'm trying to find the place. Like, what do I do? And I called my friend, the pediatric chiropractor, and she tells me, oh, look, his bone is stuck here, so he can't flex and extend his neck. Noreen, do this. And I'm, oh, okay. So I put my hands, I'm looking around trying to feel like, how can I do this? And the kid turns around, looks at me, takes the binky out of his mouth, gives it to his mother, and then puts his hand right up here on this big square spot that starts like spitting out heat right out of it. And so I'm doing techniques because I learned how in that school. And you get something sliding and clunking. In about 20 minutes, something changes because it rounds up, the bone slides.
Yeah.
And he looks at me and takes his binky and he's like, I'm done. So it's just so amazing that when little kids know what to do. So I just wish that I have a burden of knowing what I know. So I've worked with so many amazing clinicians and I know so much that I feel like this is the time that I would really like to broadcast it and let people know.
Right,
And
right.
I am going to be teaching myofascial release for I yell at
I yell
oh,
at
I yell it is really her name.
Oh,
And
oh, I thought you were saying you yell it
yes,
and you're
but
going to
I
give us
do
a
yell it.
location.
I do. I yell it. I do. That's it. That's how when I could never pronounce her name, and she said, Noreen, just say I yell it. Oh, but she now owns the manual therapy seminars portion because her mom, who was the originator, Sharon Weiselfish, passed away. So it was kind of a dissemination of the school, and things changed, but the work still continues. So it's learnable. It's not like I woke up one day and I could do it.
Yeah.
I had to learn it,
Yeah,
and the more you
right.
do it, the better you get. And then I have grandchildren, a 10-year-old grandson, and I was babysitting, and the kids came to one afternoon a week, and I said, Jacoby, I need a leg pull. So my 10-year-old grandson comes, and he's like, oh, this one. And he totally could feel what I was looking for. And he gave me a leg pull that was so perfect. Somebody's SI joint went clunk, and I thought, gosh, if a 10-year-old can do it and feel it, I need to teach it. And da 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 da. So I began in December,
Yeah.
one weekend a month, and it's a 2-day course, and it's been
And
so amazing.
it'll be right there on Danielson
Yes.
and Daniel on Main Street.
Yep.
So do you have a website where people can look at your classes and sign up for them, that kind of thing?
Yes. It is feelholistic.com.
Feelholistic.com.
Yeah.
Wow.
Holistic with an H or like you guys spell it?
They
W.
can spell it.
So when I put holistic with the W into, the word processor,
It
Uh-huh.
wants you to
Gives-
change it.
gives me a blue line, not a red line. So it's spelled right. It's just grammatically
It's actually
different.
I looked it up. If you ask Google when did it change, what happened to the W, it seems like it was just eliminated maybe because there was too many letters somewhere.
Oh,
So when we say we are holistic because the old fashioned, like before
Yeah.
1980,
yeah.
it was whole like WH. So that means whole.
Yeah.
And I'm opposed to holistic being a narrow view. And I really think that single modalities, this holistic, like, oh, I know this way, you do this, all this is wrong because that's not how we are. We're not, our human, it's not all divided up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
feelholistic.com. Feel holistic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's putting it in the comments.
Yeah, that's
People can
Okay.
click on it.
Yeah.
That is interesting. I was thinking, oh, the H can finally stand independently and do his thing.
It can. It is. It is.
I
I
gave
think
it
the
a
pharmaceutical
personality.
company got rid of the.
Yeah, I'll be suspicious.
It's almost like the word, like when you had a millwright back when we had mills and manufacturing, there's WRIGHT. A
Yeah.
millwright was somebody who knew the whole mill and how to fix like everything in it. That was
Oh,
like
is
a
that what
millwright.
that
And
is?
they were
Oh.
some of the highest paid people in the area, and they would travel mill to mill correcting problems and stuff.
You could there's Wrights Mill around here. There's Wrights Mill Road up in Pomfret.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that
Oh.
was from all the
Oh,
mill.
yeah. That is WR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wright's Mill Tree Farm. Yeah. Yep. There's and then there's last name Wright with the WRIGHT. So because that's how you got named back then. If you're a
Yeah.
carpenter, your last name could be Carpenter. That kind of
Yep.
thing. Kind of funny. So Khristine, you're the yoga instructor.
I'm one of the yoga
One of the
instructors. There's another one, Donnie, Yogi Don. He is also there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where we talked a little bit before the podcast about where you got your education. You want to kind of give us that, like how your background and how you got into this whole thing.
Yeah, well, I thought I wanted to be an occupational therapist just because she's so amazing. And then I was like, oh, I don't want to go to school. So I went on a trip to see what I wanted to do with my life. And I stayed somewhere across from a yoga studio that had come do yoga free for a week when you're new. So I was in Seattle and I did yoga for a week. And then, like, a month later, I came back and a yoga studio had opened in Danielson, live or live yoga. It's no longer open, but after a month of going there, it's like, I'm supposed to teach yoga. So then I went home and I went on Google and I was like, yoga trainings in India. And the first one that I saw, I started like crying when I was reading the description. I'm like, Mom, I'm going to India.
And of course, she says to me, Mom, I want to be a yoga teacher. And I said, well, good. So go somewhere good and learn it like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
good.
So
Yeah.
gotta go
Not
to the
night
heart
school
of
up the road.
yoga.
Mm.
It was also incredibly efficient price wise versus doing anything in the United States.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
I went there, stayed for a month. The tickets the first time were really expensive because I didn't really know what I was doing. But I got to have like the whole inclusive experience for a month. And then I came home and I just started teaching. And then I'm like, I need to go back. I love India. I love the culture. I love the craziness that's like so organized. And just like everything was so authentic. And it was a really cool experience to hear it from people that are just like living it instead of having it from another person in the other town that taught it to them, and then they learned it from someone like in Rhode Island and like past and past. It was very authentic.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
So, what does it take to become a yogi? Was it like, is it like a certain amount of hours in the?
Yeah, there's different ones. So you can do 100 hours and then 200 and then 500. So I got up to 500, did an Ayurvedic training, which is the science of life.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that you didn't want to go to school. It was that you needed to find the right.
Yeah, I
thing
didn't
that
want to
you're
sit
into.
in class. I tried. I went to community college many semesters, and then I thought maybe if I go to a different community college, it will be more inspiring.
A prettier one.
That's what I thought. It did not work out that way. But it just felt natural, and I've just been teaching it ever since. It was like 1 month of me fully doing it, learn it, and then it felt very right.
Yeah.
So it worked out in the sense of connecting to what she does, because then it was like the body work, the breath. Breath is like the most amazing thing about yoga. That was the first thing that was just like everything. We have to breathe in order to live. It's our life force. So then doing breathing work and posture stuff with her clients, it was just like exciting. It worked out really well.
Yeah, you're connected still.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, in my own way instead of trying to copy her because it's impossible.
I feel that about her. It's so
But-
cool to be a grown up and have such a great relationship with your daughter.
Right. That's cool.
Yes.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So now you work at the Wholistic Collective.
Yeah.
And do you teach yoga or do you?
I teach classes there.
So you have like the big open room with like many people kind of
It's
classes?
like pretty low key.
Yeah.
Like there's a ton of yoga studios around in Putnam and Brooklyn and Danielson. So I feel like there's little groups everywhere.
Yeah.
And I also have a 6-year-old and I sell insurance full time.
Oh, okay.
So I had to become a little bit more adult
Yeah.
and get a full time job. But it's such a great balance. So I teach a couple classes. I do private lessons at people's houses, at my house, and do random things at schools and wherever. I'm just down for yoga.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Do you want to put a plug in for your insurance?
Yes, yes, because I also
Sure.
live in Danielson, 3 minutes away from the Wholistic Collective at Rooney Insurance Agency.
Yeah.
And we are just like a small, independently owned agency. And it's 4 of us, and we do Medicare and under 65 health insurance and life insurance and home and auto and commercial and income planning, like annuities, retirement planning. So
Wow.
it's interesting. Everybody's always like, Khristine, I never imagined like you doing insurance. And I never did either. But I always did her billing for her
Oh, okay.
business.
Yeah.
And had to spend so much time on the phone getting authorizations and like figuring out things. So it kind of felt natural, and it's a different way of helping people.
Yeah.
And you
Because
loved
everybody's
it.
stressed. Yeah. No, I didn't really love that part. Now I do love doing insurance because everybody's all stressed out. I'm like, hey, don't worry. Like, we'll figure this out. I make it very simple. And then they're like, oh, what about your finger tattoos? And what do you do? I'm like, oh, I teach yoga. And they're like, oh, wow. Okay, that makes sense. It prepares you to sit on an hour and a half call on weight.
That's
Right.
Yeah.
That's funny. So do you still do the back end of the business as well?
No.
With the okay.
Oh,
She
no.
doesn't do insurance anymore.
No. I meant like, do you still do like her billing and?
No,
whatnot?
No,
No, I'm semi-retired,
Yeah.
and
Cash only.
to do billing. To do billing, you need a commitment. You need to put a certain amount out there.
Well, then you
it-
got to fight with them just to
Yeah.
get your money.
it's
Right.
Not even. I thought we were going to be not controversial.
Okay.
Boy, it's only a
Scratch the
couple of
surface.
minutes.
So now you've become the teacher rather than.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of interesting since I want to say something non-controversially. When I went to when I first was going to college, and they were training us, and it was holistic. And in the 70s and early 80s, healthcare was different.
Hmm.
And when I was going to go into mental health because the treatment for inpatient mental health was like a resort. Like people come in, we'd do morning breathing, they would do yoga. Their food was not sugar.
Right.
They did horticulture. They had groups. We had movement groups and group therapy. We had walking outside. So inpatient psych was really designed to help people's physiology recover. And I thought, wow, that was holistic. I didn't
Yeah.
know then what my hands could do in the fascial system, but man, half of the ball game is in what we do. And that's, as an occupational therapist, part of occupation, it has to be meaningful to you.
Right.
It has to float your boat and be exciting. Otherwise, it's going to do you in. And
Yeah.
so when I think it was Kaiser Permanente, if I remember correctly, I was in my master's class, and they were the first company maybe that went for profit. So before, healthcare insurance was not designed to make money for the shareholders.
Hmm.
It was a presidential signage. It switched so that healthcare insurance became for profit. And we know that by the Supreme Court says if you're a corporation, you're a person, and your primary job is to make money for the shareholders.
Right.
So, right when I was all new and like, woohoo, we're going to be holistic and do all this stuff, slowly, visit times got shorter. Approved therapy modalities got eliminated. And then slowly pharmaceuticals came in and activities left.
Gotcha.
And here we are. But I do have to say that I have a colleague up in Maine, Augusta, Maine. There's a hospital there, and she's working in inpatient psych, and this is what they do there. It has a green footprint. The doctors do cards for cannabis, medical cannabis. It's such a happy, wonderful community that is really embracing what being healthy is. So I do know that Mary Masters is up there in Maine. She's rocking it.
Yeah.
But that's, anyway, so, that's why insurance has
don't do
really been
insurance.
difficult.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What do you see the future like in the Holistic Collective? Which way do you want to go next? As far as, do you want more yogis, more physical therapists, more occupational therapists? You want to open up more products, more services, that kind of stuff, or
I think we just want people to just use the
more-
space for more sharing.
more sharing?
Like
more
that's what it's really.
coaching.
It's just
and
like
teaching?
a open space that really anybody could come in and use the space and have if it's so hard for some people to start, especially like when you're doing like energy medicines to all of a sudden rent a space and pay for a space and have it all the time, but to have a space where you can use it short term or do workshops or do classes, like it's just nice to have that to be able to offer. So I think more involvement to use the space to share with the people that they want to share with.
Right. So if anybody in our listening audience
Yes.
has any
Reach
good
out.
ideas about classes, workshops, activities that make people feel good, that's the place for it.
Okay.
That's what we're looking for. We have one lady who's going to be coming in, and I do a 2-day class, and it's designed for people like yourselves who have nothing with their hands, on people, and to be able to feel with your hands as well as to feel it from your inside. So, say for example, Karen, my colleague, does reflexology. So she brings us maps, she explains about reflexology, everybody takes a look at it, and then we get into partners, and one person does the map, and the person feels what it feels like, and then they switch. So it's like amazing because a lot of people never listen to what their body is feeling.
Right.
So the big toe is your brain and your neck. So if I just rubbed your big toe in a certain way and the neck of your big toe, your neck of your real neck would relax, would feel better,
Wow.
would flow better. Maybe your lymph would clear. So we did this, and I just got a text today from Dawn. We have one lady who was so inspired that she found technology that it's like an hour meditation. She's going to be doing a 12-week workshop, but you go and it's blindfolded and it's high technology of calm yourself down. So it's binaural beats, so your brain is getting like activated, and it's
Is it sound
subliminal.
therapy?
It's sound,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
but it's
Yeah.
not gongs and like Fred is wonderful and he does a sound bath. This is actually affecting neurology, bringing your fright and flight, your autonomic nervous system, your vagus nerve, quieting it down.
Oh, wow.
So she was so inspired from the class. She's like, so I was like, maybe you can come tonight, but
Yeah.
she couldn't make it. But we could have her. So she's going to be bringing her program in. We had a guy who wanted to do some transcendental meditation. Unfortunately, family emergency, so he's not able to do that. So that's, we're looking for good times. What makes people happy?
Yeah.
And,
And it's like tools. Like all this stuff is like tools. Knowing you have like stuff in your pocket that you can use when you need it. Not
Right.
actually in your,
Yeah.
but like I
I get
know
what
I
you're
can
saying.
do these things for myself.
Right. Right.
and tell them what you always say about breathing. I could.
Yeah, well, it's because I am truly passionate about. I'm very passionate about breathing and about using a tennis ball on the bottom of your feet. Like
Oh, okay.
seriously passionate about that, along with breathing. But about the tools, it's what the biggest thing is. Like the world could be burning around you, but no matter what, you always have control over your breath. So that is something that like learning breath techniques. Like it's so simple, but it's so meaningful, and it's something that like you have in your pocket. Like
Right,
if you're
right.
freaking out, you're like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
I know how to breathe, which is so minor but so major because we could go like 80 years and never think about it.
Yeah. There are breathing coaches.
Oh yeah,
Like I've seen that on
yeah.
TV or
It's
internet or
very
something.
big
Yeah.
now. It's
Yeah.
which is amazing.
Where they have like sessions where you're like doing a bunch of small ones and big ones,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Do you do that?
I
Is that-
do
oh,
stuff like that. And
okay.
we also had someone come in from
Utah.
Utah.
Yeah.
That-
Holotrophic breath work.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
And she'll be back at the end of the summer.
which
Nice.
And
is
that's
like
2 days.
amazing.
European. You breathe to this. You self-hypnotize yourself into, I don't know how you get to where, but everybody had very profound, calm realizations, just insights that take the edge off.
Mhm.
One woman was like really understood why her mother did something, and she was like, "Whoa, I
It
never
makes
thought of
sense.
that."
Yeah,
and,
but breathing.
and
It's
then you're
crazy.
40 years old, and you can finally let go of that perception that you developed when you were 5, and your mother looked at you cross-eyed, and you know, usually things happen to us before 11 years old that kind of mess us up in our
Yeah.
perception of,
The trauma or
yeah,
the
yeah.
whatnot.
And it's through the eyes of a child. So, not to say trauma isn't real, but there's all kinds of traumas.
Mhm.
But we're always held hostage by them. And so fascia has been found to really let that trauma go kind of non-traumatically. So say you got hit in the shoulder with a 2x4 and your shoulder doesn't work and you came to me, I could do some work on your shoulder itself and get your range of motion back. But if somebody who, your evil stepmother hit you with a 2x4 and I could unwind you till the cows come home, but until we really hook up your limbic emotional brain to your shoulder and we really acknowledge how frightening it
Right,
was,
right. Yeah.
or else, when you get hurt once, you get hurt there many more
Yeah.
times. And it's because that first impact kind of throws things off. So your elbow is stuck out a little bit more and you keep whacking it and whacking it. But the first time you had a elbow problem, maybe the grocery man grabbed you by your elbow and said, "Get out of here." And so now you're kind of stuck in this trauma cycle of your arm and it's
Right.
getting hurt. But really, that guy scared the shit out of you when you were a kid. So you're always like,
Right. Tensing. Yeah. Tense.
So doing breathing brings your autonomic nervous system out of that fright and flight state. Humming, vagus nerve loves it.
Yeah. It's funny when my dad used to do this too. We could get our heartbeat down really low. So, like in the doctor's office, if they made us wait, you just sit there and breathe real easy. And then it was always funny to get the nurse does your blood pressure and your pulse, and you're like down to 40 beats per minute. Are you
I
okay,
was there
sir?
a long
They say
time
that
in
all
that.
the time. I used to do that all the time. My dad did it too, just to see if you get the nurse to say, "Are you okay?" So
And Wim Hof breathing. Do you know Wim Hof?
I do not.
Oh, wow. Look him up. Wimhof. So he's the guy who made famous the ice dips, cold water
Cold water.
Oh
plunges.
yeah. Cold water.
But here's a guy probably my age or older, and he won this. I think he went up Mount Kilimanjaro in a snowstorm with skivvies and like barefoot and beat the record.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Wow, who is this guy?" Nobody knew him. And then he swam under ice
For so
farther
long,
than
yeah.
anybody.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Wow, who is this?" So he told them what he did, and he ended up being studied, I think, at Stanford. He's got a whole lot on YouTube, and what he has done is breathe actually to swing low, sweet chariot. And that was what he wrote a book. So he said he was singing that all the time because his wife jumped off a building and he had 4 boys, 3
Yeah.
or 4 boys. So he had to keep it together. He kept it together through breathing. 24 years later, he's got this incredible sustainability, and they studied him and found it's replicatable.
Yeah.
So anybody can do this and everybody can improve. So it's a big thing.
So I heard some of that story before. I didn't know it was him. I didn't know the name.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I've heard that. where
It's
the guy
it's all
was-
works, and it's measurable physiological change.
Yeah.
That it's not just saying, "Oh, take a deep breath and calm down." Now, this is actually,
Right.
you know,
More to
I
it.
tell him
Yeah.
that all the time. It just doesn't
Oh, I'm
work.
the one who needs to calm down.
It doesn't work.
get a Wim Hof breathing and it's calm.
Do some Wim Hof breathing.
Yeah, Yeah.
I can't believe you did that. I am not the one that needs to calm down. The two of us.
Oh
man.
boys. Oh boys.
That's funny. Yeah, that's super interesting. So is that like when you're doing the cold plunge, like let's say in the morning, a lot of people have been doing that
Uh-huh.
the trend.
Mm.
Is that just more does it make you focus on your breathing or is it doing something else as well?
No, the cold plunge is physiology. It changes probably does change your breath and your blood vessels. I've been doing it 3 years.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
really?
don't do a plunge. No, after I take my shower, I turn it off and then I turn on the cold water.
Yeah.
And I remember Musquamaket when I was little had freezing cold water.
Yeah.
So I feel
Still does.
Yeah.
so I feel like, oh, I'm little at the beach again. But the cold water it takes the swelling out of your body. So
Right, the
you become
inflammation.
so flexible.
Even if it's just a shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on his app, he tells you like to start on your wrist and start with, I think, 5 seconds and I mean, build up.
Mm.
So now I probably don't do it as long as I did 2 years ago, but I feel like even in between clients, when I go wash my hands, then I put the cold water on my hands and I can feel like this.
Yeah.
And my hands stay really flexible.
Nice.
So I think it's really, really, really good for everybody to do it. And, it's got an app. So if you can't do breathing, like there's so many cool ways to breathe.
There is.
Yeah. Yeah. Bumblebee and,
Yes.
Oh, geez.
anyway. But breathing is good and everybody should try it and come join us at the Wholistic Collective if you'd like, or give us a call. We can always call me. I'll tell you any questions you might have. Noreen, where can I do this? Or what do you think I should do? That's the cool part of being semi-retired is I do all my own phone calls. It took me a long time to be accurate and I'm not such a good secretary, but I am so much better than I was. And anyway, I forgot what I was talking about. Now that
Being accurate with
You
when
can-
people ask you
And you can
questions.
send people to wherever.
Yes.
If you're not going
Yeah.
to do it, we know somebody who will. Do
yes,
it.
thank
of
you. I
references.
got distracted by myself there.
I knew where you were going.
Kyle does that every time he walks by a mirror.
Ah!
Is that me?
It is. Still handsome.
Yes.
So you guys, so there's no appointments or anything like that where you guys are. It's all like classes and people come in. And
She's
do stuff?
appointments.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you still-
Appointment.
okay.
And Nick McCoy is a massage therapist. He's
Oh, okay.
there by appointments. We have a hyperbaric
Chamber.
oxygen tent.
No kidding.
Tent,
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
no kidding.
Wow.
That's the right answer to that.
Yeah.
Yes, we have it there. Jane is a retired nurse. She owns it. So you call her and make appointments. I was going through the winter every other week. And man, when I was doing the Wim Hof breathing in the oxygen, I could not breathe for like 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And it creeped me out so much that I breathed just because like, oh my God, it feels like I don't have to breathe. So the oxygen tent is such amazing technology and treatment. And unfortunately, in our United States, the only medically proven, quote unquote, dash insurance approved use is if you have a wound
Right.
that will not heal by every other way.
Right.
And it seems so foolish to me. You should do the oxygen first because that's
Less invasive, yeah.
Right.
and we know that germs can't live in oxygen. Cancer cannot live in oxygen. Fungus cannot live in oxygen. So it makes sense that healthy people should just go breathe it. I didn't get sick this year. And I was a little nervous because there's a lot of people coughing, and I get kind of close to people when I work, and I'm really convinced that it's inhaling that full pressurized oxygen. It feels great. It's a great place to breathe, on purpose or just regularly, but
Yeah.
we have one there.
So this
Wow.
is a tent that they set up. I'm just trying to get a
Yeah,
visual of it. and
please
it's
ask. Yeah.
like I don't know, like an easy up type of tent, like with fabric and
Yeah,
everything on the
it
sides.
is. It's like an
then-
igloo.
And
It's
you're
an igloo
fully
tent,
inside, or is you?
and you're
Yeah.
no, you're inside,
Yeah,
and
It's a little tent,
yeah.
and then it is very secure.
It's
when
like
it
a
zips.
zipper.
And then
Three
there's little
zippers.
windows.
Three
Three
zippers.
There's
zippers.
layers. Yeah.
So if you're claustrophobic, is this tougher for people?
well, there's a little opening, and Jane is not far away. So
Now,
And there
can
are
you-
windows.
Can
Yeah.
you talk through it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because that might be a
Yeah.
problem.
You bring your phone.
yeah, you can talk. I called my aunt one day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're really just
You're sitting,
breathing
breathing.
oxygen.
Breathe in it.
Yeah.
Breathe in it.
So is there like a chair? Do you sit or?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Or you could lay on the floor or sit cross-legged, or
Yeah.
Hmm.
Huh.
yeah,
That's interesting.
It
and
is
that's there all the
interesting.
time. She
it's
has
there all the time.
you
Just
just by
call her up by
appointment.
appointments.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's really
And
cool.
it's only, she charges $60. So again, we're not a corporation, nobody's making a ton of money, but it's a fair price. So if
Right.
you look at a hyperbaric chamber, which is like in Trumbull, Bridgeport, you're going to see another number in front of the 60.
Right.
So how long is the? Do you
An
sit in-
hour.
You're sitting there for an hour.
Yeah.
I can do that.
The first time,
It goes
I
by
did
faster
it,
than you think.
my
Yeah.
ear,
and you
like
probably end
my
up feeling so
ear-
good you don't want to get out.
Yeah,
Oh, maybe.
it really grows on you.
Is
But
there
the
like a
first
lazy
time-
boy in there or something?
There's a pretty comfortable
Oh,
chair.
Yeah.
It's
You
not-
can like make
not like
put pillows
a
on the
desk
ground.
chair
lounge.
No,
or these
Probably.
stools.
A
that-
metal folding chair.
yeah, just yeah.
Probably start stretching and breathing and
yeah.
doing.
Oh, it's wonderful. And afterwards, you're just so flexible and so clear-headed and
Yeah.
so.
You see all those like oxygen bars in like these really fancy places.
Yeah.
So those are just
Yeah,
put
just
'em
up
over your
the nose.
Yeah,
that
but this
feels
is like
right.
yeah.
I would-
Yeah, that's so inadequate. I had an allergic reaction at a restaurant some months ago, and my husband took me to the emergency room. I was doing little fish sips, like, these little tiny breaths, and they put one of those little.
Oh, the
little
nasal
ampules,
cannula does
and
nothing.
It's like,
oh, you need
man.
so these oxygen bars. They'll give you the mask.
Oh, do
yeah.
they? Yeah.
When we went to a wedding in Vail and all over Colorado,
Oh,
they
'cause
have the
people-
cans.
Yes.
And they're just little cans like this with oxygen in them, and they have a little mask, and you just
Oh, because so
Yeah.
many people get mountain poisoning.
they get
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
from
It's
the
like, dizzy.
what I forget yeah.
But it's weird. Everybody, it's like huffing. People are just
Yeah,
huffing.
but it
aerosol
does
gas.
it actually
It's
works really
oxygen.
well.
Yeah.
So you're buying oxygen.
No,
You're
no.
buying- you're buying.
I'm trying to think of what it's called when you come up like from scuba diving too fast.
Bends.
The bends.
Yeah,
There it
yeah.
is. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you go up into higher elevations like Colorado,
Yeah.
whatever, you
Yep.
can get sick
Yeah.
from it.
Yeah, I mean, I was only there for a weekend, and the first we got there, you couldn't like walk upstairs, you couldn't even breathe. And these athletes are coming in and playing 3 games and stuff. It's
Yeah, a lot of
wild.
them train in
Yeah.
the off season in Colorado.
It's crazy.
That's like a big thing.
What
up
sport
there.
was that?
All the sports.
Oh.
They'll
Yeah.
all play in Colorado. Colorado has teams for every sport, so they're always having teams come in from all over the country.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I-
that's probably why like the Navy SEAls and stuff are there too.
Right.
Yes,
a
That
lot-
makes
there's a
sense.
lot of
Yeah.
people that train.
Yeah,
there.
because if you train there, right, and then they go into like regular
it's
oxygen
just
environments,
easy.
yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
stay underwater for like in a half an hour.
Yeah, that's been a big thing for a long time. Olympians go to train there, stuff like that. It's always been a big thing.
Hmm.
So, because of the thin air.
Mm.
So, that's interesting. And is it like when you're in the barometric chamber? Is it the same thing? That's not thinner. That's like giving you more air, right?
Yes.
Hmm.
It's
Like-
thickening you.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like the air is,
So it's like the
I don't know,
opposite.
pressurized, because there's dials when you're sitting it right there's the dials, and it's like 70 or 40 pounds. I'm not sure. But
Oh.
the first day that I did it, I had my right ear felt like it was going to explode in my head. I was like, ah, and she let some air out, kept it lower, right under my threshold. And I probably stayed in there like a half an hour. And then the next time she let it up slower and I didn't have it. And
Yeah.
then the third time, my left ear popped, and it's been great
Hmm.
ever since. I can do it for an hour easy.
Yeah.
And last time I almost took a nap. It was just so easy. So,
I bet it's a good thing,
See,
right?
oh,
That'd be like an
right?
escape from your 5 kids.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah, it would. Yeah.
totally.
true.
It would be worthwhile. Yes.
Wow. And you guys didn't? There's no like advert. Do you have a sign outside or
Oh,
anything?
We have very minimal. That's never been our strong point. So maybe in late summer, we finally put up like some banner signs outside. There's like little signage in the Main Street window. We've got like stuff hanging. It's
no. we
not the
don't.
best at advertising, but we're trying daily.
We're really hoping somebody comes and says, hey,
I love advertising.
yeah, and I love doing yoga, and I could get a massage, and how about trading?
Yeah.
Some marketing help with.
So if
some
anyone wants to
usage.
do that,
Yeah, I'll call.
Well, there's no. I'm trying to think because that building there's like no signage on the
No.
Main Street
That's
side,
right,
right? There's
yeah.
like windows and
Yeah,
everything.
that's
Yeah.
where we are. That has a Pizza Pizzazz
Yeah.
sign.
Right.
Yeah. See. Yeah.
That's right
Yeah,
outside
it's
my window.
interesting. I wonder if you guys could have a sign sticking out, like Chubby Dog. Their sign
Yeah.
sticks
Yeah.
out. You see it from a pretty good way
Yeah.
away.
We probably could.
Yeah.
Sounds like you-
make a
Sounds like you
decision.
solved your problem.
Yeah, that's true. I never even
Yeah.
thought of putting a sign like a real sign. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what I'm sure there's someone you have to talk to at the town. about it.
Yeah.
Even like
Oh,
a
yeah.
sandwich board, like daily, just put it out, just so when people are walking by.
I was
see
thinking
it.
about the yoga because we've got
Yeah.
yoga like 5 days
Oh,
a
yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So you
a lot.
could do something like that.
Yep.
Now, products wise, you have yoga, you have
I think those are services.
services, whatever, occupational therapy. You have the chamber. What else?
massage therapy.
Massage therapy,
Reiki,
Reiki.
reflexology,
Yeah.
and actually, and Tina is a Reiki practitioner, and she also got trained to be a death doula during COVID.
What is
Yes.
What's
doula.
that, huh?
Wow.
doula?
So that is assisting someone who is facing their end and wants to do it their way.
Hmm.
So it's the opposite of birth doula
Yeah, I never
that
heard
has
of death doula.
that makes sure that everything is done the way the mom wants it. So it's a big facilitation job. And it's also relaxing, and she does Reiki, but she also, it's like counselor,
Hmm.
but very, very sacred counseling and acknowledging that there's a lot of ways that people don't want to die.
Hmm. Yeah.
And we don't often get to talk about this because
Right.
everybody's like, "Well, let's save you, let's give this," and I mean, I know there was the wonderful inspirational story about a doc who passed away, and he had found out he had brain insurance, a brain inoperable brain tumor, and against medical advice, left the hospital, took his family, took his money, and they went on a trip. And it lasted a lot longer than they planned. And then they came home and he passed away. But that was how he wanted to live rather than having this experimental
Right.
drug
yeah.
trial,
Right. Doing the
which
other
is
way.
so scary. And that's, I think, and that's kind of my passion, though, is people don't realize that there's other things,
Yeah.
and I think that's kind of like the systematic dumbing down of our society, of our rights, of our privileges to know that vitamin D is essential and magnesium helps more than 3,000 bodily functions, and you have to take it, and it's best to take it through your skin so your stomach doesn't have to digest it and spit it out. And people who don't have magnesium have all these problems. Or like salt, don't use salt. And there's tons of research that says people are having heart problems because they don't have any salt. But in 1950, the Surgeon General said, don't add salt to your Campbell's tomato soup. Pretty much that's kind of, and there's one of those traditions. So,
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
so when
yeah.
I'm seeing somebody whose body is weak and they're mushy, it's like there's a feeling that I can feel now if you're mineral deficient.
Right.
And, why should anybody be stinking mineral deficient?
Right.
So I feel like a broken record sometimes, fighting the system. But the system is, has not been rigged in our favor.
No.
And so I'd like to make a plug for.
I was going to ask you about the book you brought.
Thank you. I actually wrote okay. So Robert F. Kennedy, I think this is how it went. What do you call it? Approve, promote. They say, hey, let's hire Casey Means, or let's bring this Casey Means on as in some capacity.
Yeah.
And people were making fun of her because she's not a surgeon and she's not a this and she's not a that.
She's an MD.
So, so how can she know what this is? And so Midas Touch guy was going off on her, and I was like, dude, read the book. Don't be. So this lady writes this book, which is pretty much everything I've learned in the last 30 years.
Yeah.
And yep.
So it's Good Energy by Casey Means,
Yes.
MD.
Mm-hmm.
And I got this book in December on advice of my dentist. And my dentist, because I've had 40-year-old silver cavities taken out of my mouth.
Oh.
Yes. Oh, and the stuff they put in there long ago, they were making it up. There were no standardization.
Right,
And
right.
in 1985, Sweden, I think Sweden or Switzerland, were like, oh, we made some errors. This metal stuff is not good. So I had mine taken out, and immediately, even on the drive home, every tooth, I had 7 of them. My fingers stopped buzzing.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
My balance is better. And it is said that I am looking younger.
You do.
It's true.
But this book is just so incredible. And what she has done for me is make it so simple in that everything we put in our mouth is used. And how it's used is up to us. If we put food that is usable, that our body can digest, everything moves along. If we eat food in the wrong time, the wrong order, or it's food that's not digestible to us, like me, I'm an O blood type. So O, A, and B have different requirements. And this is in it. This is real. So I'm changing mine and not eating. I keep doing this like, can the microphone see my fingers?
Well, the camera can. It's right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Woo. And this is from no cucumbers, avocados, because I eat them every day.
So,
But
but you were having trouble with your hands. They don't know what.
yes,
it was
I
like
was
before.
having. Yes, thank you, John. I was having trouble with my hands.
Like an arthritis type of?
Oh yeah, look
okay.
at the
Swelling.
knobs.
Yeah.
And they were like big and on fire, and I put my hands on people over and under all the time, so I was having a real hard time, and I was thinking I was going to have to retire. But then I have a colleague from Wholesome Healing, also with a WH, Wholesome Healing, and she says, Noreen, this is glyphosate. and glyphosate is Roundup, and she told me to stop drinking California wine, which I was. As we all in COVID, well, just drink, all from California, and boy, were my fingers angry.
Wow.
And
Ah.
just eliminating those that probably in 8 months already started down, down, down. So what Cecilia from Wholesome Healing RCP is, that's her website, wholesomehealingrcp.com. And so she is also able to make sense of your symptoms.
Hmm.
So, from Cecilia telling me that to my dentist saying, read this book because I'm going to need an implant and it's going to need to be in there for 30 years because I plan on living, my family, everybody lives till mid 90s.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So, when you have all of this gum recession, and the dentist say, "Oh, well, nothing you can do." She says, "It's your pH. It's your gut flora and fauna.
Yeah.
It's read this book, Noreen, and do what she says, and your mouth will be healthy." And I'm not going to tell you all about my gums, but wow, is she
Yeah.
right? It's
Huh.
amazing. It's amazing. So,
How do you,
now
you
and
test your body pH?
oh yeah,
You do?
oh yeah, you
Interesting.
can.
There's like kits or
Yeah, there's what do you call those strips? That long
you
paper.
pee on it.
Yeah, spit. No,
Oh.
or you can
Maybe you can.
spit. Maybe
Don't mess
I
those
would
up.
say.
Read the directions.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
it's all that kind of pH is testable. Your gut flora and fauna is testable. Your neurotransmitters. I mean, there's so much stuff that you can find out about yourself and then fix yourself up. It's amazing and it's really exciting. It gives me, really it makes me always inspired because I witness people recovering.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
their
that's gotta be-
life. And Easter is my favorite holiday because I do believe that the miracle of the resurrection is really within us,
Hmm.
and that our cells, and this is a fact, not just belief, our cells regenerate all the time.
Right.
Right.
And if you Google how long does it take to get new gut lining cells, 4 days.
Oh, wow.
So that means if you
Really?
eliminate what's poisoning you, which is mostly dairy, wheat, and emulsifiers, people need to read what's in there half and half. And I will tell you the God's honest truth. When Dunkin' Dunkin' Donuts came out with their spice, their pumpkin spice.
Mm-hmm.
I had so many people come in with swollen, painful joints.
Oh wow.
And it's like, what's in that? And the creamer is amazing. And the creamer is an industrial concoction.
Yeah.
It might have a whisper of milk in it, and that's it. So we're putting these, industrial petroleum products in our bodies, and we're thinking, oh, it's not nothing, people. Somehow they made us dumb enough to believe that poison is really not poison, and we're infallible and we can just pour anything down because as soon as it passes our lips, it's gone. So that's my passion as arguing. I argue diagnoses with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that society, we're Western medicine, right? And that's what the majority of people believe. I mean, go to Avena in Putnam, and she's awesome. And
Right.
the proof's in the pudding, and she'll be like, what have you been eating? What have you been doing
Yeah.
this? And
Yeah.
it's
It
when-
always lines up.
Oh, that's every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
she's
just-
great.
yeah,
Yeah.
But we need like millions of
I know.
Avena
There's a yeah.
wellnesses and
Yeah.
Casey Means and so
I get the idea. To me, one of the I always think like a medical place should be more of a hybrid between holistic and Western. I think there is a place for it. Most treatments could be at the end when the holistic doesn't
Yeah.
work or it needs to be faster. That type of
Right.
thing. I think there are definitely some
Right, there's no
critical-
triage.
right,
There's
yeah.
no like, oh, let's
Yeah.
do a little this.
Yeah.
Just change this for 2 weeks and see
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah.
No, let's
Well,
look. And then
that's-
if you don't have cancer, if we can't see a lump, well, then you're fine.
You gotta follow the money, Noreen. Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Oh boy. Well, when I first started my practice, I went to another consultant, and he really made it seem like, I would have a practice to sell, and there would be tons of money, and that's why my husband went along with it and helped me out many years. Because it seemed like it was,
You fooled
good,
him, huh?
but yeah.
I love
Yeah. Hey, I met him after I had that encounter of the close kind first. About 5 months later, he smashed up his arm in a motorcycle accident, and I was a hand therapist.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I didn't
Man,
remember
I would
quite everything.
that you didn't think that was on your bingo card.
Yeah,
huh?
right. Not at all. But I won the prize.
Yeah.
So you dated a client, huh?
I did, but only for like 1 weekend. And then we decided we were just going to get married. Well, actually, he invited me. He's like, we should move in. I said, why don't we just get married? And he's like, okay. And
Sounds like a fairy tale.
it was. And then I chickened out, and then we.
We
took a
regrouped.
little while. I regrouped. Because what? Back then, who got married like that? Nobody. Ah! So, yeah, Mike, he's lovely.
It worked out.
Yeah, it sure did. It sure did.
That's
man.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Feel free. Anything else you guys want to bring up and plug as far as services or your address? You wanna shout out the address?
136 Main Street,
Yeah.
Danielson.
And the phone
Above
number?
Pizza Pizzazz.
Above Pizza Bazaar.
If you
Above
don't know
Pizza
136.
Right.
Where's the entrance? Is it?
There is a street
Oh.
entrance. This is
Okay.
the big
Oh,
deal.
wait a minute. That front door is often locked.
Yeah. So if the front door from Main Street is locked, you gotta walk around the back, go up a little set of stairs. There's a hallway directly to the right. We have a sign that says Wholistic Collective, 2nd floor. Walk up the stairs. Or if you walk straight, there's an elevator. So we have elevator access and stairs.
Mhm.
Nice. Are you guys like the whole 2nd floor? Is that how big?
Basically,
Almost.
Almost.
It's
Wow.
huge. I think it's 3,200.
Wow.
I think that's what I heard. The landlord was showing the space around a couple weeks ago.
it goes on
Huh.
and on.
The National Guard has a space up there, and
Yeah.
they're going to be moving to Putnam when that location
Oh, that
is.
new
Oh, really?
one. Yeah.
Wow, he's
It's
been there
ready.
forever. That's even where he was when I was in high school. That's wild.
Well, I peeked in there, and they were cleaning out closets, and it looked like 1960s up there. Yeah. But I think it's really, we have an exciting opportunity now. And what I want to leave on, or I want to just talk about how the consumer has progressed. When I started in 2001, it was nobody knew anything what I was talking about. It was unbelievably like barren. And so I had to kind of impress them with my professionalism. But I have to say that I never wore a white jacket, because I feel that once somebody has a white jacket on, then I become the whoo and here. And I took medical sociology, which was so profound for me in college. And medical sociology is like the study of what happens to people once our individual identity is replaced by a diagnosis.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay.
Parsons Project, I think 1961, was a big psychosocial a study that showed how people kind of withered once they
Because
became.
that's how they identify.
Yes, and then what I'm always freaking out when people say, "Oh, my Crohn's disease or my arthritis or my," wow, you never want to put a
Own it.
possessive pronoun in front of it's a symptom. Your body is trying to get a message to you. So in that class in 1981, I took medical sociology because that book was like a little Bible to me that said, don't wear a white jacket because I don't know all the answers and I'm not God, you know,
right.
and sometimes I'm learning from you and you're learning from me. So I don't want that hierarchy. And I'm always arguing with people to get educated about why are they feeling the way they are, and don't ever own it, because as soon as you own it, it becomes alive. You've given up
Yeah.
your power. You cease to be I,
Yeah.
and you start to be the sickness. And in my world, the last location, we were next to Putnam grocery store, Putnam supermarket before COVID. And that was, oh man, that was we had such a great thing going. It was like we were like a good basketball team.
Really good.
Yeah. And that's the place where it just all like became community, and we could really see how even the front door person could have a role in integrating, and if you need another pair of hands, we would have 4 pairs or 6 pairs of hands, and how just adding more layers on was so powerful. And people started coming who were not surprised at what I was telling them, but they were seeking it out.
Right. Right.
And now it's amazing how many people I don't have to argue with. Like people are
Yeah.
giving up that idea. And
Yeah.
like, what else can I do? What is this really about?
Right.
So I'm hoping that this trend really continues and we're not discouraged by insurance companies, because people are seeing the value of good information and how it lets people be better. So we want to have a community that's full of people who feel good, and if they don't have a problem talking about it.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
They can call you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well
yes.
said. Well
Yeah.
said.
Yes. And join us. And nobody's alone. Nobody's alone. Everybody's got a similar story.
Yeah.
You know, maybe a different.
There's different details,
Yeah.
but different.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for the most part, everybody's.
Little to big. We're
Yeah.
all humans being human.
Yeah.
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 Really.
So if people want to come and be human with us, we sure would.
Welcome.
Yeah. And if you have questions, we don't have because the Holistic Collective isn't
One
funded, doesn't have
entity.
staff,
Yeah.
but anybody can call me up. Noreen Wallace, 860-963-0712. And this is the same phone number I have had since 2001.
Nice.
So it's really cool. I might not hear from somebody from 15 years and be like, whoa, you're still here? And 15 years, and it's so cool to fix a person who I already repaired.
Right.
You cannot believe how fast a repair job goes once you're in good shape, healthy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Fall off a
Right,
mountain,
right,
we
right.
can probably undo it.
Of course, you just killed it. You can never say new phone. Who this?
No.
No way. That phone that's the number.
Yeah.
It's always a way to catch me. And then I can talk to you and see what you need to do or what you're looking to do, and I could guide you, move you along.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd be happy to communicate
Nice.
with
Awesome.
anybody who's interested.
Nice. Nice. I mean, thank you so much for coming out and sharing with us. Really appreciate it. You guys are always welcome here at the bench, and
Oh,
I
maybe
hope.
you could bring Tina next time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Talk
there you
about
go.
Jeff.
We have many things to talk about.
We're- we always welcome that and the information and then just being able to discover these new things that people, like you said, marketing's not your thing. I hope people, are intrigued to at least check it out because that's seems like you got a lot of great things going on. So thank you.
Well, it's
Thank
it's
you.
been like a menu that has been built over 30 years.
Wow, that's
And that's the good thing about never being able to get a good full-time job is like the universe provided me with some really exceptional training,
Yeah.
yeah,
and I'd like to definitely pass it on. So
that's awesome.
thank you guys.
Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. The Community Workbench families are having their annual Spread the Love campaign. Please donate what you can when you can. Spread the love. Even the cost of a coffee can go a long way in many of these local places, the food pantries and the shelters. Join us again next Monday night when we go live with Allie Mack Marketing. I think she's a digital marketer, does a lot with social media and whatnot.
Maybe we should call
Whoa.
her.
Might be a good connection for you guys. So anyway, we'll see you next Monday. As always, buy local, hire local, dine local, volunteer local, donate local, and have great days.
Yeah. Thank you.